And today we'll talk about a few different aspects of yesterday's press conference, joint press conference of President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu. It was a very loaded with news items press conference, as I'm sure you know already. And we'll try to dissect it and see how it may apply to the regional dynamics for Russia, for Iran, possibly even Georgia. So we'll just dive right in, and Georgi, I will let you start. Sort of give us the overview from your perspective. What did you hear yesterday? I know that you listened to some sections, at least, of the press conference a couple times. Very interesting indeed. Something very unusual, and some are calling it innovative, some are calling it terrifying. So, how do you see it? What was in it for you?
Well, I think some people are praising. I mean, we are obviously talking about the statement by the President Trump saying that United States will move into Gaza and effectively will own it in near future. And he also stated that the second point that is also very important is that where once from the current population of Gaza, which is around uh, more than 3 million population as far as we know, can move out. And he was calling for partner countries like Egypt, Jordan, and other countries in the region to take to take those who want to leave Gaza and help them to settle elsewhere. Um, some people, of course, praise these statements, and some people will be unhappy and are already unhappy. But let's go step by step and, first of all, review the statements in response to this, say, announcement by President Trump from the side of Egypt and Jordan, which were literally not very happy with this at the moment. Although President Trump also stated that these countries are not, there's no buy-in from these countries as of yet, but they will agree with this. Then he called also for Saudi Arabia to pledge in some financial aid to the resettlement and further development of new Middle Eastern Riviera, as he called it, that has to be built in the territory that we call Gaza. Um, that raises a lot of questions. I think worldwide, within the United States, within the international community, I think also within Israel, and everybody who is just observing the situation in the wider region of the Middle East. So on the one hand, we have a very strong willingness of the newly elected president of the United States to make a peace in the Middle East, and he wants to do it through peaceful means by offering development in the troublesome areas and the resettlement of the population that is actually was also affected by the military action for decades now, right? On the one hand, this is plausible. The second is that it is still unclear how that can be done. What is the tools, machinery, or legal background to do that?
Right.
So that are the questions, or those are the questions that a lot of people, states, observers, experts, groups are expecting from the United States to hear as an answer, because the intentions are very good, probably, but there's so many uncertain
But there is a long
points.
path, long
Yes, there
path
is a very long
to
path.
to that eventual picture of you know Riviera in the Middle East, as President Trump called it. Um, so today already some reactions, of course, are coming up. Even yesterday we had some reactions. Russia is among those countries that reacted, though very carefully, but still. We also heard from some of the uh, residents, first of all, of Gaza, also some of the Palestinian sort of allies or um, others, let me put it this way. And it sounds like there is this mixed feeling, at least from what I could read in the US media, that there is some mixed reaction based on who you ask, basically. Some people are welcoming the idea because it's, uh, devastated for 15 months of war. Gaza is basically, and again, as President Trump called it, is probably like, it looks like a demolition site because most buildings are impacted.
Does.
And then you have this um, reaction on the other side of it, which says that we cannot go anywhere. This is our land. And even some countries have suggested that the two-state solution is the only solution for Gaza, which was not a part of the discussion at the press conference yesterday. I don't believe it was even mentioned.
Yes, but yeah, for the United States, the two-state solution was an official policy since early 90s.
Yeah.
So we're talking about roughly 30 years of the state policy of the United States. And this policy was widely acknowledged by the international community, including the United Nations organization. So how this will affect this notion of and these policies of the two-state solution, because of course, obviously, Gaza, under the conditions that were announced by President Trump, will be, as far as I understand it, correct if I'm wrong, is planned to be incorporated as a U.S. territory
Yeah,
somewhere.
sort
I,
of. There was
I'm
an
kind
indication of it, but not. It's not really clear. It's very
Yeah, it
President
is not
Trump.
clear. That's what I'm saying. And,
Yeah,
and and of course, there is a West Bank that is also the Palestinian autonomy territory of the Palestinian autonomy. So it doesn't exclude the two-state solution, but uh, obviously, this announcement is putting an end, at least verbally, uh, on the Gaza as a part of Palestinian state. That's what I read from the statement.
mm,
So that's why I say, and you also basically are confirming your own opinion that it has a very long way to go, and there are a lot of questions and uncertainties that we see now. And yeah, we have to sit and wait how it will all unfold, but we are just trying to analyze
yeah,
something that is very difficult to do so, not having enough information, or
yeah.
because it is very sudden. It is very sudden and
And it's
very
very big, very,
unexpected.
very unusual. I think even some of the uh, close followers of President Trump were taken by surprise yesterday by this announcement. So very interesting. My observation of the Prime Minister Netanyahu's reaction was that he was very measured. He did not say he praised the idea, but he did not really get into any of the details. So, of course, obviously, it was discussed with him before this press conference, but still, it seemed like he did not really quite have the um, policy opinion about that or some sort of position, other than the fact that that's been his policy all along, that Hamas should never pose a threat to Israel ever again, and Hamas should never govern Gaza ever again. So that's obviously that's what came out from Prime Minister's comments. But do you have any observations on that? Like, what do you think? Could he have been
Uh,
more Direct? Could he have said something else? What were you expecting?
I would say, yeah, and very good observation, by the way. I would say that I agree with you. Netanyahu was careful, but he was also very happy to hear what he heard from
Yes,
President Trump.
true.
On the one hand, on the other hand, we also heard during this press conference two type of no goes. First of all, first no go you already mentioned was no go for Hamas to stay as a factor in the Middle East or destruction of Hamas, and the second no go is the Iran's nuclear program
Yes.
or development of the nuclear weapon by Iran. So these two no were heard very loud, and that is understandable because basically, when we speak about nuclear weapon for Iran, that is probably the main destabilizing factor, and not only for the Middle East but for the global security. And everybody acknowledges this. When we speak about Hamas, this no go is basically because we are talking about a terrorist organization that basically terrorizes, Israel for many many years, and now is the uh, opportunity for Israel to destroy it completely. So they will pursue and they will follow this, and probably they want to finish the job.
Yeah,
And
and there was also
continue.
I'm sorry. It
Yeah,
was
please.
it was also obvious that the approach of the Trump administration towards defending Israel and supporting Israel in this fight is different from the Biden administration approach to it, and sounds like uh, Israel will benefit from America's both military, political, financial assistance moving forward.